What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bro Files. We're here with Evan and my buddy Justin, and we've got an awesome episode for you guys today, man. I'm really excited for this. This is a great dude we've got with us today. I've known him for a while. How long was it? It's been 4 or 5 years now?
It was before COVID.
Pre-COVID.
So that's 6 years ago.
6 years.
Crazy.
God,
You
man.
were working out at the old location.
Yeah.
So that was 2018. Let's
Yeah.
pretend 2017. Let's at least say 2017.
That's about right.
I feel like that's about right.
That's
'Cause
pretty
it was
accurate.
1 to 2 years before we moved from our old location to
Yeah.
our new location. I remember that.
One of the coolest dudes I know, man. You have so much knowledge, whether it be with fishing, you've picked up jujitsu, like there's
Ish. I still get choked out all the time.
you are not the only one, man.
It'll stay that way for a long time.
It's called staying humble.
Oh, trust me, I was humbled instantly, and I'm humbled every day. So.
Man, that's awesome. And your son does it with you, though, right?
He was doing it until October.
Really?
We did it for. Well, I still do it, but he did it. He did it for like 7 or 8 months, and then I think what it was is there was a kid in the class that like showed up regularly that I guess he just wasn't feeling, and he was like uncomfortable with that kid. And
Really?
just stopped wanting to go.
Gave off bad vibes or something.
This kid. Well, I guess it's going to remain anonymous. I mean, I don't even know who the kid was, but like this kid either peed his pants or something happened that like maybe when Emmett and this kid were sparring, the kid peed his pants, and then like Emmett wasn't doing it to be mean or anything, but I know Emmett kept trying to tell the teacher that the kid peed his pants. And
Yeah.
I was trying to explain to him like, no,
You can't do that.
We don't do that, but
Yeah.
like. I don't know. It was this whole thing, and then that definitely was the dividing line. Because after that, he just started not really wanting to go, and I made him go for an extra month because I was just like, all right, well, let's make sure this isn't just like you don't want to go right now.
Right.
And then like every time we went for a month, he was like, yeah, I don't want to go anymore. Yeah, I don't want to go anymore. I'm like, all right. So I'm kind of hoping maybe because I'm keeping it up. I'm hoping he picks it back up.
Good. How many stripes you got now?
2.
2?
But I would have had. I'm assuming I'm assuming I would have more if not for I don't know if I broke it, but over the summer, let's just pretend I broke a rib over the summer in the gym, not at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And I fought through that like all summer long. And there was this one because we go to the fundamentals class first.
Yeah.
And then like if I have time or if maybe Emmett didn't go with me that night because it's like back to back.
Yeah.
And
So ours is.
it's like, what time is it at? It's like 6 to 6:45 is fundamentals.
Yeah.
And then 6:45 to 7:45 is
Advanced.
the advanced class. So like I wasn't going to too many of the advanced class just because like if Emmett's with me, I don't want him sitting for an hour. Plus it's time to eat. And all that stuff. So I would take advantage when I could of doing it. And we had this one advanced class. All we were doing was the triangle or like an arm bar or something. I forget what it was, but it was just like get in a position and lean it back, and something about that leaning it back like triggered me like I had never. And look, I was dealing with the pain every single class. Every single class, I felt it. Every time we did freaking break falls and warm ups, every time we did anything where I'm having to move around, I'd feel it. And then this one class, I don't know what it was, but like something got me, and I was in like 8 or 9 out of 10 pain. It was by the time I left class, I would say 9.
And if you're saying that, that's pretty serious.
I mean, I bite my lip through a lot.
Yeah.
But this one had me like I couldn't move.
Dang, bro.
And everybody was like, "You all right?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'll be honest." So after that one, I took like a month off. I said, "Okay," because I had adjusted my workout schedule to like.
Dude, what?
Well, I just wasn't doing stuff that I knew was bothering my back.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Like, I was doing exercises. I was like working around the issue. So I was no longer hurting because I heard it originally in the gym. I was doing, you know what the pit shark is?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the belt squat, essentially.
Yeah.
And I had the belt like too high or something. And I just like one of the reps, I just like felt it. And I had like 7 plates on each side. So it was a lot of weight. And it was like the belt, I think, just like got me in the wrong spot or something. I don't know. But like, so I heard it in the gym and I started figuring out, okay, this bothers it, that bothers it. So I was like working around it. And I had myself in a spot where I wasn't hurting it in the gym anymore. But every time I went to jiu-jitsu, it was hurting.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, maybe it'll get better. And then after that one class, when I like rocked it, I'm like, all right, no, I got to take time off. So I took a month, or I took like 5 weeks off. It was like either September or October. I forget which one of those 2 months. And I was still bringing Emmett at the time. This is during the time when like I was having him go, but he didn't want to go. So then I was like really paying attention to what he's doing. But all the guys would be like, "Oh, when are you gonna come back?" I'm like, "When my rib heals." And then they'd all just be like, "Yeah, ribs are finicky, but quit beating them." I'm like, "Okay, well,
I know.
I fought through it all summer, but okay." And then I finally got back, and then 2 weeks after, and it felt great. Like it wasn't bothering me anymore, and I was like, "Oh wow, I forgot how good it could feel doing jiu-jitsu and get choked out with not bothering you at the same time."
Being able to actually breathe.
And then like 2 weeks later, I broke my finger, and I'm like,
dude.
And I did that at the gym too, being stupid. So, if I get hurt, it's probably in the gym. But, and so that took me out for another couple weeks, and then I started wrapping it, and I would do it, with my hands wrapped and everything. And then it's just been like sport. And then now we're getting into like November, then the holidays hit, and I'm still going, but I'm working around,
everything.
Or all this random stuff. And then I missed the last 3 weeks in a row up until last Tuesday or Thursday. I forget which day it was. One of the days last week, I finally got back in, and because I went to Orlando for a vacation, that took me out for a third. Because I only go to Tuesdays or Thursdays, because like the fundamentals classes are either lunch, which I can't do, or 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and I work till 7 Monday and Wednesday. So like the only classes I can go to are Tuesday and Thursday, or if I want to show up to an open mat on Saturday, which I haven't quite filled up to yet, because I know that's the crucible.
Yeah.
Because like, let me tell you, just some evenings when I'm waiting for, or when I'm seeing people waiting for the advanced class to start, I'm seeing killers show up. Like people, because I joined the gym that I'm at because one of my clients was going there. He's a brown belt, and he was a pro belt when I started training him. He's a brown belt now, but he would be like, "Oh, that dude, this dude." He'd be like pointing people out to me, and he's like, "Oh, he's a this specialist, he's a that." And literally, they walk in, and I'm just like, they look like killers, and so I'm like, I'm not ready for an open mat with these guys yet. So I haven't worked my way up to that. But I finally, after going on vacation, I get back, and then work took me out of one of the nights, and then I got the flu, and that kept me out for another week, and then the snow and all this crap. And so I finally got back in last week, but we have a new teacher, so I'm still trying to figure this. Yeah, the guy that runs the place was the for the first like 3 or 4 months I was there, was the main teacher of the fundamentals class, and then like this other guy that's a black belt, he started running them. He's cool. He actually has a 4Runner just like I do. I think his is a 96 though, mine's a 97. But so like he's cool, and we always talk about that. I actually recommended my mechanic to him. Who's probably not far from here. He's out in Clayton, so I'm sure
that's not that far.
That's what I mean. You probably skip across the pond. Like that. You're in Clayton. Man. But now we have this new guy that I've like seen at the what do you call it? Gym, dojo? Like what were
gym?
Gym, okay.
Gym.
So like when I've seen this guy in the gym, he kind of confuses me. Like I've never really talked to him, but I have now had like one class where he's leading it, and like the way he leads the class is consistent with me just like watching him. He has like a really, really, really uncomfortable, intense gaze, but he also just like seems like he lacks confidence. It's like he's a brown belt too. He might even be a 4-stripe brown belt. I'm not sure. He's high level, but he's like super intense, but then also feels unsure of himself. So I'm just like, okay. He just gives this weird energy that I don't know. I have no idea. We'll see.
So I would like to talk about how I met you.
Okay.
I'll never forget when me and Amanda, we had moved to the area, and we were looking for a gym, and we had joined O2, and we were both wanting to up the fitness level, right? So we had talked about getting trainers, right? And somebody had recommended Ryan to Amanda. And then when what's his name that worked there that used to be like the dude that coordinated for everybody? Younger guy.
I mean, you're probably talking about a fitness director that we had.
Yeah.
But the fitness director we had at the time, because we've gone through like
Praith.
We had a Praith.
Praith.
But I feel like Praith was at the new club though. If we're talking old location,
it was the old location.
Praith. We had a Praith, but I don't remember Praith being at the old location. Praith was at the new location.
Younger guy. pretty fit.
Tall?
No, I'd probably say about my height. Black hair. Wasn't there long.
Didn't have black hair.
He didn't go to the new location.
I don't think it was Praith. And Praith was at the new one. We had the last lady that was the fitness director during the transition was this lady Jessica. Who was before Jessica? We had this. He will never see this, but we had this like more out of shape guy, kind of powerlifter body, but like wasn't even that strong.
I feel like I remember him.
That was Rick, I think was his name.
But that wasn't. This was like a dude that was in pretty decent shape, but
Praith was in good shape. But I don't think Praith had dark hair. Praith was blondish, like dirty blonde.
So
whoever it was,
I remember.
And the problem I have trying to remember is we had about like a turnover of one a year.
Yeah,
so there was like 15.
He was there for a while though.
The average track record was like one per year. That was we had a couple that was like 2 year, tenured, but
so Ryan was recommended to Amanda, and I was telling this guy what I was looking for. Right, I said, "Hey, I need somebody that's going to keep me motivated, push me, and tailor this to what I'm looking for." Right, immediately he said, "Justin." That is that. Like there is no two ways.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
Oh yeah, bro.
I didn't hear the story about the recommendation to me.
Yes. No, you were recommended. Right. You were, and I said okay. And then we started working out together. And I'm telling you guys, like this dude is the best motivator that you could dang work out with. And not only that, but we got along on like every level. Agreed on everything, which made the workouts even better. We would be sitting there talking about something, and then he would look at me, and you just be like, "The weights ain't gonna lift themselves."
all the memes come out now too about like there's like reels where it's just like when your personal trainer is your buddy with him and you're talking a lot, and then he reminds you, hey, it's time to do a set.
Yeah, you're like, oh man.
You're like, shoot.
Because I'm not gonna lie, there would be times where I'm like trying to collect myself, and he's over there pushing me, doing his thing, and he would throw me into that next set without me being totally ready. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And man, this dude though,
it's a science. I mean, it's just I know how long you're supposed to take in between sets, and depends on your heart rate. I mean, I don't think you were wearing a heart rate monitor at the time, but I can tell there's a couple ways for me to do RPE, rate of perceived exertion, and depending on how much you're running that mouth, I'm like, oh, he's ready. All right, let's do our next set.
You would too, man. Like it was awesome. Like I think probably the best times I've ever had working out have been no doubt hands down.
I appreciate
with
it.
you.
I know I don't think I ever made you throw up. I know
close.
My brother-in-law, who's now he has been, but he's a Cary PD. He was Asheville, and then he got out of there, but now he's Cary PD. But when he was like training to do, I forget the name of the test. There's some kind of test that PD, law enforcement or PD, they have to do.
Cooper Fitness
or POPAT?
Or Pope, like the POPAT?
Might have been POPAT. I forget what it was. Might have been even for the Marines. I'm trying to remember. He was in the Marines for a little while before all that. But whatever test it was for, there were like certain things he had to do. So I'm like, all right, we're gonna work out based on those things. And I remember it was at the old location, and I had him out back, and it made me laugh. I wasn't laughing because he threw up, but I was laughing because of how it happened. So I measured a certain distance, and he had to do a certain distance in a certain time. It was maybe, I'm just going to make it up. It was like a quarter mile in like 2 minutes or something. I don't know what it was, but, and I like measured the distance around the gym, and I tried to get it as like the building, and I tried to get it as good as I could to be like, all right, start here and then like end here. And that's about whatever the distance was supposed to be. And I timed him, and he did it. He like comes right back, stops where I have him stop. He's like, how did I do? And I told him what he did. And he like missed it by a second. Okay. Throws up right there.
He's like, wait, give me a second.
Fully composed. I mean, well, as composed as you're going to be being like winded, but he just asked the question, heard the answer. And I'm like, dude, that's hilarious.
Not even gonna lie. The hardest workouts I would ever have with you would be the leg workouts.
Oh yeah.
Because this dude, it would be, now keep in mind, like this was during COVID, so we would work out outside. And it was that part I like. I enjoyed that.
I like outside workouts.
We would deadlift. Like let's just say we would deadlift, and I would go from deadlifts to squats and then he'd have me do weighted lunges. And then probably halfway through the weighted lunges, I would be ready to hurl.
And then I'd tell you we're going to run around the baseball field.
Yeah, we would do that, run around the baseball field, or we would climb the bleachers with 45-pound plate over my head. This is the man, dude. I'm telling you. It's like your knowledge of that is on another level.
Well,
in my opinion.
Well, okay. I did go to ECU for this, but it's just a matter of compound movements, and if it's not hard enough, add more weight.
Golly.
And identifying like for me with you, for example, I'm thinking what movements are going to best benefit you for your job. I know you're sitting down a lot, but you got to be ready to move when you need to move. So we need you to start quick. It'd be good to get some endurance, but I know you want strength and like all these little factors that I'm putting in. So if I'm designing somebody's workout, I'm taking like what you do, what you need, and a little bit of like, okay, well, I hear what he's saying, but I think this would be good for him to have too. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
sprinkling all that in together. And the number one thing is if somebody is, I don't know if anybody necessarily enjoys getting rocked in a workout, but like they'll finish the workout and be like, I'm glad I did that. And they survived the routine, so to speak. But making it quote unquote fun, I always like to say I put the FU in fun.
Yeah.
But that's the main thing, because if I have people that they'll tell me after a few, like if I have somebody new, and after a few workouts, I won't say that there's a default that I go to, but I usually like to do like a circuit style training, because most people are trying to lose weight. So if they're trying to lean out, lose weight, whatever it is, I'm going to do more of a circuit style training program to start them out. And I'll have some people that are just like, I'm not enjoying this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well, let's figure out what you do like. And that's what I try to do. I'll try to put them in a spot where they enjoy it enough that they're going to continue, because even if it's not with me, I'm less concerned about whether they're with me or not.
Yeah.
It's just like I want them to make fitness in some way, shape, or form. Me, group fitness, solo, class, Peloton, I don't care. Find something that's going to keep you fit.
Man, and because of that, I love doing circuit workouts. Like my ADD will not allow me to do a regular style workout.
It's kind of the best thing to do, because it's the best of everything. If you look at not to like plug CrossFit, but CrossFit is essentially, because I'm not anti-CrossFit. It's just like CrossFit is this separate animal where I'm going to throw a number out there, like 90% of people within a week of starting CrossFit, they've probably hurt themselves in a way that like they're going to drop out relatively quickly, because it's a big group fitness style training thing that they have going on. So it's like one or two people watching, I don't know, make a number up, like 12. And they're doing movements that require one-on-one, because these people aren't Olympic lifters, and they're just like, all right, we're going to take this 50-pound dumbbell and just single arm snatch it over your head.
Right.
Not gonna lie, some of the workouts that you were explaining doing, what was it, on the baseball field, it kind of like sounded like CrossFit, but it's not CrossFit.
No.
Well, so I would say let's pretend you would see the workout that I've given him, and they call it a WOD, workout of the day. So they'll have and there's like national WODs. You go to like, I'm going to make it up, like CrossFit.com, whatever their website is. And they have like a national, like, here's your workout of the day or whatever. But it's that, except in a CrossFit sense, it's a class, and there's, one or two people over however many number of people.
Right.
The big differentiator is when it's one-on-one, he has my full attention. So if he's doing something wrong that could hurt himself, I'm right there to correct him and make sure he doesn't get hurt. And I'm also getting instant feedback because nobody else has my attention. So like if he either just really hates the movement, and I tell him to suck it up, but if he really hates the movement and I got like a legitimate reason for it, like I don't think it's bothering my knee, but if he gave me some reason, I'm like, all right, we can switch it up.
Right.
Versus, people in CrossFit, you have the combination of you're not being looked after as much. Maybe you're voicing that complaint, but I find that people in group settings will suck it up more because they're not trying to be the capital B of the class. So maybe they'll like push themselves more than they should. And that's another big thing, is I have to rein a lot of people in, because they'll go ham in the first couple workouts. And I'm like, let's dial it back a little bit.
You've told me that before.
Yeah, they'll come flying out of the gate, and the interesting thing when I have anybody new is this give and take between me and the client, depending on the client. If I have a really like rambunctious, ready to get after a client, I love that energy. But they're going to go flying out of the gate at 100. They're going to blow their engine. And then they're not going to come back and they're going to blame me, which is fine. My job to rein them in. So I have to be like, all right, you're going to leave today with a good workout, but we have to like get you to the finish line and you're going to blow your engine before we get there. So that's another battle I have to fight with people. There's like so much nuance to it that you know, I feel like goes uncredited.
To me, it seems like, and this is what he's good at, right? Is like he will take a workout, and this is giving me an idea that I think in a future episode we could come and do a workout with you.
And I'd be curious to see how you would do after all the stuff you've been doing in the time between. I'd be curious.
Not too well.
Not too well?
Not too well.
Okay.
I know the workouts that we've done before, and I can tell you where I'm at. It would not be too well. Which, anyway, he's good at taking a movement in a workout that might be hard and making sure you do it in a safe, efficient manner, and then making it enjoyable. And it's like, you know, the workout itself might suck, but it's just something about how you're doing it, man. It's like a mind game while you're at it. You know what I mean? It's like he's having a conversation with me at the same time I'm doing this, where I'm doing this exercise and I'm like, this really sucks, but at the same time, it's okay. I'm getting through it. You know what I mean? And I've left plenty of workouts feeling like, dang, man, like I'm blown. You know, which is good. And I really enjoy it. And man, to me, what I'm getting at with all this is like you have made it. Like I can tell why O2 keeps you around, because you're very good at what you do.
Well, I appreciate it.
And I think it's awesome. I enjoyed it. And but tell us about you and like your childhood. Where were you born, and did you always come? You didn't always live in Cary, did you?
No.
Yeah. So
it's complicated, and this is where I think I'm finally settling into just like when people ask me where I'm from, I have to go through all of this in my head, and then I have to, at the end of the day, be like, well, I guess I'm a North Carolinian now because I've lived here for. I guess we're at 30 years. I either moved here in 95 or 96.
Okay.
But I'll start at the beginning. So my parents, both of them, are from northeastern Ohio. So Youngstown area.
Okay.
Right across, like right next to the border of Pennsylvania. My dad joined the Air Force, and 3 years in, let's pretend he was 21, 22. I can't remember how old he was, but 3 years in. So they're stationed in Spain. So they're on a base called Torrejon. And it's somewhere right outside of Madrid. Either that or they had to drive a while to get to Madrid, because that's where I was born. So while they were in Spain for 3 years, I was born there, and I lived there so my birthday's in June. We moved to Texas in that December. So I was there for 5 months and 22 days. Now, and I can circle back to that, but apparently there was some kind of dual citizenship that I could have taken advantage of that I did not know. And maybe I might be wrong. Maybe I'm misunderstanding something I was told. But apparently, if I had done something by either 18 or 21, that I could have like kept it. But either I'm wrong or whatever, one way or the other. I had dual citizenship until that point, and I never really knew it. But that's a whole separate thing. But so then we moved to San Antonio, Texas. And so that's definitely where I say I grew up. I mean, because my son's 8, and I think I was 7. I might have been 7 or 8 when I moved to North Carolina. But we lived in San Antonio. The base is now closed, but the big base that a lot of people are aware of in San Antonio is Lackland, because that's where they do like if you're no matter where you're from. But I think that's the base where if you're going to join the Air Force, that's where your boot camp's at. So happenstance, but that's like a bigger base. And then this other small base is called Kelly Air Force Base, and that was like 20-30 minutes away from Lackland. I don't know why they had two Air Force bases that close together, but whatever. So we lived on Kelly, and then in the armed services, typically when you make rank, you're moving. We moved from Texas to Seymour Johnson because my dad made rank, and he went TDY for a year. We were still in Texas while he was TDY. I forget what TDY, temporary something. It's essentially they send you to kind of like train for the job. So he was in Korea for a year, and then he came back, and then we moved here. And that's when I moved. We were living on base at Seymour Johnson. Went to Meadow Lane, I think was the name of the school. Because I was in, Winston Elementary was in San Antonio, and then Meadow Lane was here. So I went to Meadow Lane, which actually I skipped a grade in Texas. I skipped second grade, and I was in third grade, and we moved in April, and there was like 6 weeks left of school or whatever. When I came here, they put me back into second grade, and I essentially had to repeat third grade just because they were just like, yeah, that's cool. We don't do that here. So they're like, you're in second grade. I said, okay. So I finished second grade, and then I did third grade all over again, which whatever. But and then I went to Greenwood Middle. Is it Greenwood Middle? I can't remember. Whatever the middle school was, I went there, and then we moved off base, and we moved to if you know where Marmac is, it's like the south end of Wayne County, kind of by Mount Olive. Like most people know where Mount Olive is, so it's like I don't know, 15-minute drive from Mount Olive. Like if you're leaving Goldsboro, it would kind of be the in between point between Goldsboro and Mount Olive.
Right.
So I moved there, and then that put me in a different school district, which is why I bring it up. So I moved here at 7. And I mention all this to, I feel, describe a part of me that's like important. So I hit the reset button moving from San Antonio to here, meeting all new people. Yeah. And then, so I had third, I'm not going to count the rest of second grade. So third and fourth grade, middle school was 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. So I had 6 years where I met new people, made new friends, all that kind of stuff. Moved off base into a completely different school district, and that's when I went to Southern Wayne, because I would have been going to Eastern Wayne, but the new district was Southern Wayne where we lived at. So then freshman year in high school, didn't know anybody. So started over then. That was fantastic. And I made the idiot decision of because most of the people that lived in my neighborhood were seniors, couple juniors. So when I went to Southern Wayne and didn't know anybody, 75% of the people that I met were seniors or juniors, which didn't really help me, because 1 year later, starting over again. So I was like, I keep making these poor decisions. But does any of that like affect you in a negative way, having to start over? No, I think that's why I was bringing it up. I think what that's done is I can talk to anybody. Yeah. Like, I don't have a problem meeting somebody, talking to somebody. I mean, I'll go through, maybe my energy level is not up for it, but I mean, if I had to, like, if it was a situation where I'm like, I have to talk to this person, I could do it and it wouldn't be a problem. But, if the option's on the table, it's a long day, it's at the end of the day, I'm going somewhere, I'm just like, I just don't have the energy for it. Right. If I think I can get away with not talking to somebody, I'll probably just like keep myself. But I know all of those things and meeting and starting over and all that kind of stuff has put me in a mindset where I'm just like, it's another person. I can talk to whoever. So that's a non-issue for me. And then I went to ECU. So I had to put myself through college. So I kind of just applied to I applied to App State. I don't know that I did NC State. I might have done NC State. At the time, I was blown away with, like, I have to write an essay. I feel like you would have done very well at Appalachian. Like, I feel like that just that style of school where it's at, and then, like, knowing you as a person being more outdoorsy, that would have been... I mean, hindsight, I am curious, like, how things would have played out if I went there, and I'm sure I would have done well, but I went into college, like, not really knowing what I was going to do. Because, like, in high school, they sort of set you up. You can, like, kind of... I forget what they call it, but you can sort of like specialize your path slightly. And I was going like down the business path. And then when I got to college, freshman year, it was just sort of like throw everything out at you and try to figure out what you like to do. But that's when freshman year is when I just said, okay, well, I started working out when I was 15 or 16. My dad had bought this, this was like back in 2002 or 3 or something like that. But you know, they didn't have they might have had Bowflexes at the time, but it wasn't no Bowflex. But it was one of those where like it had a pull down. It was like one big thing. It had a pull down, it had a bench. You could do leg extensions. Maybe you could have done a row. It came with maybe like, I forget what the weight was, like the plates. It came with a certain amount. I forget how much it was, but like working out in the garage essentially was kind of where I got started. But I enjoyed it a lot, and I went from like 153 pounds sophomore year to 183 pounds junior year. So
My God.
I mean, that's a common. I didn't gain 30 pounds of muscle, but if you look at photos from sophomore year and you look at photos of junior year, like, are you putting on some weight, son? So like, it is a lot of muscle that I put on, but the majority of that was, you know, you're 16 or whatever. You're just growing. Anyway. So I'm not saying I grew like 30 pounds, but
so that's where you think your passion for working out really started.
I mean, I had a lot of stuff going on at the time, just between having started over again that sophomore year and all that kind of stuff. And actually, I was overweight. It's funny, I was 183 pounds in 8th grade. So I was like, quote unquote, overweight going from middle school to high school. And the summer between the two, I was very aware of like, oh, I'm going to a brand new school district where I'm not going to know anybody. And you know, not in today's day and age, I can't sit there and poo-poo like, oh, I don't want to be the fat kid, but I didn't want to be the fat kid. So I wasn't that overweight, but I would call myself husky when I was in 8th grade. I would absolutely call myself husky.
Big boned.
Not even that, but so I just ran all summer because there's this 1 mile from my house down this one road, and then there was like this farm that had like a huge dirt road that led into have you ever heard of Busco Beach or Busco Beach or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
So like this would have been a quasi back way of getting there because Marmax's, that might even be in Marmac,
close,
but if it's not, it's super close to it. But this one farm, kind of like once you go through the driveway, and I never understood if this was like a public thing or if they just did it or what, but you go down there and you end up in Busco Beach. But I wouldn't go that far because I would see like shotgun shells when I started venturing in there, and I'm like, I'm good. I don't want to get shot. I don't know if these are like hunting shells or if these are get off my property shells. I don't know what these shells are. So I said, I'm good. I don't want to do all that. So I would just do this like one running path where I would run. I knew from my house down the path and back would be a mile, so I would just multiply that however many times I wanted to do it. So I lost the weight just by running and eating better. Because like I spent middle school eating like deep dish pizzas and Otis Spunkmeyer double chocolate chip cupcakes, and I mean I ate like doo-doo. I had a lot of soda. I did all the things that if a client came to me now, I'd be like, yeah, we gotta stop that. We can't. We gotta make some decisions.
Clean that up.
So yeah, I mean, so I lost all the weight. But anyway, so I went to ECU and I said I like working out and I like helping people, and I actually won a scholarship in high school writing a paper on helping people, which was helpful because I had to pay my own way through college. And that was part of why I was like, all right, App State and ECU are inexpensive, quote unquote. Because State was like double the price of ECU, and you know I wasn't even dreaming about anything like Carolina or Duke or any other place like that because I looked at the price tag and I was like, I'm good. So I started off freshman year at ECU doing physical therapy, doing like the degree field that would have gotten you into physical therapy, and then like after the first semester, because it was 2006, and in 2007 I learned this my second semester, they changed the rules. Before you just had to have a master's to be a physical therapist, and then after 2007 you had to have a doctorate. Now in my mind at the time I thought that was I had to get bachelor's, I had to get master's, then I had to get a doctorate. Apparently it just added a year. I didn't find this out till way later, but apparently it just essentially added a year. So I could have just gotten my bachelor's and then done the doctorate, and it would have just been like 1 year more than it would have been getting the master's.
Dang.
But at the time, I didn't know that. So that's when I went to my advisor, and I was just like, well, and I talked to him, and I said, how can I don't think I can put myself through college throughout this process. And he didn't even tell me. Maybe I didn't explain it to him well enough that he would have told me, no, you're just doing 1 more year. Maybe he didn't know. I have no idea. But I downgraded my degree from like what would have put me essentially like it's also the medical school degree because they cover like all the classes you would have to get into medical school. But I went from that, which I'll call the more clinical side of degrees, to one step down, which was just more of like the gym side or whatever. And I was just like, well, can I take like the harder classes and keep up if I wanted to change my mind later on? He's like, yeah. So instead of, let's say, the degree that I ended up getting, where maybe I just needed chemistry 1000, for the degree that I left, the harder one, I needed 2 chemistries, and I needed like Chem 1101 and Chem 1102 or whatever. So I said, well, can I take Chem 1101 in place of Chem 1000? Yeah. And then I said, can I burn electives, taking whatever else I need? So I only actually had one legitimately true elective course in college. I burned everything trying to keep up. So I am, as I'm understanding it, I'm only 4, but I'm 4 credits shy of a double major. Because I would have double majored if I would have done organic 1 and 2, which I puked a couple times thinking about, calculus, which I gouged my eyes out thinking about, and then a second physics, which for some reason physics was one of the few classes that I just went in and came out being like, I don't know how I got a B, but I'm happy. Because that thing, I didn't get too many B's, and mostly I got A's, and I'm not trying to like pat myself on the back, but like I mostly got A's. I graduated magna cum laude in college, and I was really mad because I had a 3.89, and my advisor told me my senior year, he's like, if you get all A's this year, you'll get a 3.90, because a 3.90 is summa cum laude, and I really wanted summa cum laude, but I was 0.01 away. And I was really upset about that.
Couldn't get you there?
Couldn't get me there. And I was really bummed. I was like genuinely really bummed about that. I was like, magna cum laude's cool, but like I really put the effort in senior year, being told that if I got all A's that I'd get it, and then I was off by 0.01, and I didn't get any B's. It was all A's. It was just like either he mathed it wrong, or maybe he thought that something would get rounded, or I don't know. I don't know what the situation was, but I didn't get it, and that was a bummer.
His math wasn't mathing.
His math wasn't mathing.
At what point did you meet your wife?
I met our freshman year in college. So we met, we actually met twice. We met early on, maybe like 2 months into college. A friend of mine, Josh, we were out, you went to state for the most part, right?
I never went to school.
You what now?
I never went to college.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember if you went to state briefly, or because I know you were ECU for like a hot second, or maybe you were thinking about it. I can't remember the exact story behind that, but they put on these things early on in the year where it's like meet and greet. They're like putting stuff out to the students to make people like, learn about other people, meet friends, all that kind of stuff. So at the bottom of College Hill, there's this like huge field, and they had like those mechanical bulls down there. So everybody got their turn. And I met her that day because we were all out. Like my group of friends was there, and this one guy, Josh, I guess either had a class with her or something. I don't know. But like they said they were going to meet at the thing, and then I'm down there. I'm thinking, based on my understanding of like what she was there for, I'm thinking she's interested in Josh, and I'm just like, all right, whatever, you do your thing, man. Apparently she was interested in me, because as soon as she got there, she was just like, who's that? And she tried talking to me, and I blew her off, essentially. Like I straight up blew her off. I mean, not in a mean way, but just in a if you think a girl's interested in your boy kind of way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, yeah, cool, whatever. Like not letting the conversation.
Trying not to step on your bro toes.
Yeah, I was thinking that Josh was trying to hook up with her or whatever. So I was just like, all right, whatever. Yeah. And then months later, so I didn't see her again. And then months later, she was. I don't remember this one. I don't remember the situation for why she was there, but she was in one of the other dorms, and my dorm was ACOC, which has since been renamed. But let me roll my eyes. And she was in ACOC, I think, with Josh again. But it had been told to me in the time before that it was like, no, she was interested in you. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I was not trying to step on your toes, but okay. So after the second time, and knowing that she was interested, I'm like, all right, well, let me pursue it, see where it goes, whatever. And so I forget how long after that we started dating, but it was maybe a couple weeks of, doing whatever, going to lunch and all that kind of stuff. And then December 11th, I think that sounds about right. I'll get checked on that, I'm sure. But that sounds about right. Is somewhere right before Christmas break we started dating. So, and then ever since, yeah. But that's how we met.
So y'all dated for how many years before you got married?
It was I actually was I guess they call a super senior because I did 4.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
My degree field required an internship, which I couldn't fit in before getting certain other classes in. So like I essentially did all the schooling, and then like my last semester was just doing an internship, which didn't even take up the whole semester. So I was just out for 2 months, and then I actually came here for that. I was at Cisco.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I wanted to go to Colorado. They had a USAA, had a must have been a brick and mortar building out there with a gym. And my dad, I have USAA because, if your parents are in the military or whatever.
You already get it.
Yeah, you already get it. So I was like, well, that's cool. Plus Colorado. I've never been to Colorado, so I wanted to check that out. But like the day I needed to let my whoever, advisor, I don't know, whoever I was supposed to let know about, where I was going to go, the date that I needed to let them know by was 1 or 2 days before the USAA could have let me know if they were accepting me or not. So I was like, all right, well, I'll go through the interview process, and then, if I don't have anything else, then maybe I'll land that one. If I can't get anything else, then they'll be okay with it being a day or two late. So I didn't want to put all my eggs in that basket. So I looked at other options, and then I saw Cisco here. And Sarah's parents were living in Morrisville at the time, and I don't remember if I floated the idea or if they offered it. I can't remember, but it was only like 2 months, and we had been dating for 4 years at that point. But yeah. I was just like, well, this is right up the road. I was like, it'd be a decent situation where I don't have to pay for anything. I don't have to like pay what I would have to pay if I was on my own. And I did my internship at Cisco, and then I graduated. But to answer your question, I think we were together for 5 years before we got married. 2012.
Yeah.
So 5 years, yeah.
You know what's crazy? What I just literally just thought about? How small of a world it is. Right? Like, we get here, we get together, we find out you guys have a mutual friend. Mm-hmm. Right?
Shout out to David.
Yeah, I hope he's watching so he can get that.
I sent him the thing. He might watch it.
So, not only do we all have a mutual friend, you guys lived in the same area, however brief it may or may not have been, because you live in Cary. Mm-hmm. You lived in Morrisville.
Well, I actually lived in Cary. Because, I was in Morrisville for that internship.
Right.
When I moved up here, I lived in Cary.
Yeah.
I was in Cary until I moved to Apex.
At the house?
Yeah.
Guess where my parents moved from before I was born?
Texas.
Ohio.
Oh, really? What part of Ohio?
And they're closer to Cincinnati.
Okay.
Do you know?
Like south.
This is
still Ohio.
But they moved to North Carolina.
There's a lot of people that are from Ohio.
It's crazy.
They moved down here, I think, early 1994 or very late 1993.
And then he does his internship at the same place my wife works.
Oh, she's at Cisco now?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's been there.
Oh, has she?
Even like forever. Like as long as when she graduated.
Maybe I thought she did something different.
No, yeah,
Maybe I didn't understand.
When she graduated from App, when she moved home, we started dating. She got her first internship at Cisco.
Oh, really?
And she's been there ever since.
Oh, I must have misunderstood what she did then. I thought, did she do something with her mom or something?
Mm-mm. No.
Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
She has always been at Cisco.
Interesting.
Yeah. Dude, like everything has been intertwined.
That is crazy.
That we've talked about with all three of us.
Jim's still there.
And to be clear, the only part that we've talked about prior to just now was all of us knowing David.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then all this is just now coming out. I'm sitting here listening to you talk, and I'm like, yeah,
You're trying to connect dots.
Yeah.
I am.
That's crazy though.
Couple strings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, man, that's crazy. So let's fast forward a little bit. I want to get into the whole man. Like, I know you've watched previous episodes, and then So you know that Evan just recently went to Disney and had a Disney experience.
I just got back from Universal. I mean, I was in Orlando, but the last time we were at Disney was a year and a half ago.
You guys do that stuff quite often.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I prefer, and it's more the commitment level you have to put in. I prefer more of like a Busch Gardens, just because it's 3.5 hour drive, and you're not like, because we're going to, well, we just came back from Orlando, but we're going. I guess it's Miami, but we're going to Miami to go on a cruise in April.
My gosh.
But we end up going down to Florida a ton between cruising and Universal/Disney.
Well, that's my bad for not, because I love seeing the pictures of you and Emmett. Like, man, like I think that like you're super involved with him, and that's awesome. And I can't wait for my son to get a little bit older.
He has ADHD.
Yeah.
So and we had him like diagnosed because apparently it's like a big deal today that if they do have it, if you can go through some level of the process that we went through to show that like, okay, yeah, they have ADHD, the schools will be like more supportive of whatever's going on. And when he went through the test, we went to some, I forget if it's, I don't even know the difference, psychology versus psychiatry. I guess one is like you have Tourette's, and the other is like you're depressed or something. I don't know. I think that's how my brain. I don't know if that's correct.
I have ADD.
I feel like that's the same thing because I was going through this process. I was kind of told like there's a lot of different names, but they're all kind of just putting it under the same umbrella at this point.
Yeah.
But anyway, going through the process with him, between going to that place and then going to subsequent like now he's going for semi-related speech therapy because he actually lost a tooth at like the worst time, and he did it to himself. It wasn't like a tooth came out. No. He knocked one of his baby teeth out, and it was one of his front ones. Apparently, like during a pivotal learn how to talk time. So like, there's certain sounds he doesn't make very well. G's, SH's. Like church is a very good one that I try to get him to say because church, like he'll say it. Giraffe, TRs, SRs, like stuff like that. He has a tough time saying.
Wow.
So we'll take him to this one like developmental therapy place where they'll do a bunch of stuff, but they'll work with ADHD kids. They can work on his speech therapy. His big issue is more that he's it's his attention span, but it's definitely like his impulse control. Like he'll do a thing without thinking about it first, which I think is a lot of kids, to be honest with you. But I will watch other kids and him, and even then I'll notice like he's distinctly a little bit not as good on impulse control. But going to all these places, I get told a lot. They're like, I'm really happy you're here because usually we don't see without saying it as clearly. They'll pretty much tell me in a polite way that like it's usually just the mom there. It's never both parents or the dad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how? Like I love my son like to death.
Yeah.
And to not be involved with him on anything he's got going on, I'm just like, how? Because I'll get told about how I'm apparently like somewhat uniquely more involved with my son than a lot of other dads are, and I'm just like, it just didn't sound right to me. But apparently that's the case, and it just blows my mind. And I know you're not like that, but I apparently a lot of people are like that, and it just blows my mind.
Man, because you taught yourself to fish.
Yeah. Yes. And I taught myself to fish to do that with him.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like you taught yourself to fish, which I think that's a hard thing to do, man. Because I used to fish, and I know like it's very intricate.
There is a lot of it, yeah.
And then
I would spend so much more time going down there.
This dude didn't even start fishing in a pond. You know what he did?
I bought a little inflatable. I called it the banana boat, but I bought this little inflatable kayak, this little something inflatable kayak, and I would just go out in the lakes.
This joker goes to Jordan Lake
in an inflatable
kayak
with hooks
and just starts.
Yeah,
I failed to see the problem.
I mean, I guess really there's not one. I just think it's fascinating. He taught himself to fish, and then.
YouTube's a big help. I mean, honestly,
I remember
today, and even 10 years ago, ever since YouTube, you could kind of teach yourself to do a lot. So.
This goes back to when we worked out together. I would be lifting, and I remember I would be like pulling, about to blow my butt out, and he would be over there talking about different rigs and stuff. Like, I tried this and I tried that, and I'm like, ah! You know?
Shut up about a jerkbait rig, man. I don't care right now. I'm popping a blood vessel. Yeah, sorry, man. You're about to die. I'm talking about jerking. No, it's a real thing. It's called a jerkbait, just for clarification. Anybody that
We all know where we're.
I know. Just for the potential viewer, it is called jerking, but it's you like whip it. So you cast it out.
It didn't get any better. About the same.
I could be here all day. I'm not even, but it's like this very fast motion.
This is exactly why a lot of guys like to go fishing.
I love
It's the
fishing.
terminology.
I love fishing. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway,
I like it.
yeah. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's a quick motion.
It is a quick
It's
motion.
quick.
It's a quick motion. And if you're lucky, they'll bite real quick, too.
No.
You gotta let it sit, and then you whip it. It's not so much a yank, it's more of a whip. Fast motion.
Oh man, you're something else, dude.
There's another one, actually. So do you know what a jig is?
Imagine when you're holding weight and you're bench pressing and you're holding it above your face, and he starts doing this,
Yeah.
and your arm's like, I can't hold this anymore because I'm laughing.
Got you, man.
He'll just be sitting there and he'll be like, oh yeah, well let me
Yeah.
just go ahead and help you out with this.
He's completely looking the other way. He's not even like.
No, I'm paying attention to him. I'm paying attention. I'm right there, you know.
He just adds another level to it, man. Like if you think the weight's hard enough, nope, he's gonna make you laugh just to make you push that much harder.
Laughing's an ab exercise. I'm just trying to get those abs engaged. That's all I'm trying to do.
Dude, but digressing, I think it's awesome how you involve him in everything. Is there one thing that made you want to be that good of a father to him? Like, is there something from your past, whether, you know, when you were growing up, or is it maybe something work related, or is it a personal goal you set for yourself?
No, it's nothing like this is certainly not a brag whatsoever. This is actually like the opposite of that. But like between my dad being in the military and going off TDY a bunch, like let's say before I even moved to North Carolina. So let's say by the time I was 8, he went TDY somewhere, let's pretend Missouri sounds right, for 6 months early on, and then like didn't see him for that amount of time. And then when he went to Korea for a year, you know, he was gone again. But more than just that, he was a less involved dad. And without going into too much detail about it, I got somewhat of a blueprint of what not to do.
Yeah.
And I made it a huge goal, like effectively my number one goal in life, to have seen what I didn't want to be in certain respects, and to make sure that I like wasn't that.
I think that, and I mean, you'll probably be on the same page with me on this, is I feel like that is a big fear for me as a father. That for X amount of time, I'm half here, half not. That I hope that he doesn't resent me for that. Do you feel the same way with your two?
Somewhat. Now, the only reason why I'm saying somewhat is, you know, during the week, Lena goes to school from like, she gets picked up by the bus by like 7:30, gets dropped off by, 3:30. One of the joys of kind of being the early guy, right? You also get off early. So it's early enough in the morning where it's like, okay, she'll go into school, but I'll be there for her when she gets out of school, if that makes sense. And same thing with Eleanor when she goes into daycare. She goes in probably around about the same time, 7:30, and can pick her up at 5:30, and I'll be able to be there for that as well. So Monday through Friday is pretty good. Now during the weekends, it's great to have
hit or miss,
right?
With every other weekend,
correct. But I'm not 100% like too concerned, because any other day, like when I'm off, I'm there with them. So they understand that we both have to work. Things aren't getting any cheaper. So as you know, both my wife and I both have jobs. Kelly does some additional stuff other than her part-time job. She's got her own business and everything else. So all of this, and I hope hoping that they grow up to see it, that it's all necessary.
Yeah.
Because we both got to work in order to give them the life that they want or that we think that they need.
Yeah.
And hopefully they grow up knowing that it was all necessary at the end.
Yeah.
So,
you have any other habits that you developed? You've got your fishing that you self-taught. You've jumped into jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
Your exercise, man. Your exercise.
I mean, if I'm like describing hobbies and stuff, I mean, like, so like going back to my dad, like a credit I'll give to my dad is, I would call myself an amateur photographer. Like he started a business doing virtual tours like super early on. He was, I'll use the word pioneer, but like in 2000, this didn't really exist. But he developed a business where he would go to real estate companies. Like he did a lot with Remax. He did a lot with Century 21. I keep thinking Town and Country. It's not Town and Country, but that's a store. But no, it's like I think Country's in the name. But some other, there was like several real estate companies he did business with. So back in the day, it wasn't a thing where you could check out a house online.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there was a photo of the house.
Right.
And that's all you got.
Yeah.
So he essentially pioneered what he called at the time a virtual tour, which now I don't know what they call it anymore.
It's normal.
Yeah. It's a normal thing now, but
Yeah.
he was a part of the laying the groundwork because his stuff was huge. But he had to buy the cameras and then he would go to, and I went with him for some of these. He would buy the cameras that he needed and he would go to the houses and like take like high quality professional photos,
Yeah.
tripods, the lighting, like he had all this set up, like stuff like this. And he would arrange the house in a way that looked really good. And it was just like a multitude of skill sets that came together that like made a very quote unquote pleasant viewing experience during a time when it was non-existent.
Wow.
Because in 2003, you'd have to go physically see, 8 houses or whatever. But with his virtual tours, you could just go on. I mean, like we do now, you could just go online and maybe the photos look good, but like, you could look at a photo or a set of photos of a house and be like, I don't really like the floor plan, or I don't like whatever it is. You could kind of determine. You'd knock out 3 of those 8 or whatever. So at the time, it was just him trying to sell to the real estate companies how buying, and they paid like per house, but like buying a virtual tour for a house they're trying to sell would help them sell the house. Plus, it was very good. He was very good at, like I said, like setting the house up, laying out stuff to make it look nice and all that kind of stuff.
I bet you that really worked out well for him.
Oh, it super did. His business did really well. It was just him and one other guy for a while. But he also built the websites for a lot of these because he had to put together the quote unquote the virtual tour itself. It was more than just taking the photos. You had to like insert the photos in a thing where it like plays as a movie and they'd have sound going on in the background. And where we now with high speed internet, back then you would either have dial up, which I believe you guys are old enough to remember dial up.
I remember.
And
Roadrunner.
Roadrunner maybe Roadrunner had dial up, but I equate Roadrunner to when
Time Warner.
Yeah, I equate Roadrunner to when they first came out with what was called cable.
Yeah.
So not like TV cable, but they had like internet.
Yeah, cable internet.
And that was like the first really high speed internet.
Like kind of hardwired.
Yeah, but that didn't come out till like 2007 or whatever.
Yeah.
So the super early stages, if you had quote unquote fast internet, you had maybe DSL was around that time. Yeah. Because you had T1 back then. We even flirted for like a year. We had satellite internet, which
I
Like
feel like I remember that.
this is
HughesNet.
old. This
Huh?
is
HughesNet.
Yeah.
yeah. You had 28.8 dial up, then you had 56.6 dial up,
Starlink.
and then well, that's now.
It's a lot.
No,
better
I'm
now.
talking about Terminator.
Oh yeah. And then like DSL, then cable, then T1, then T3, and now we have fiber. And fiber's just where we are now. But so the reason I bring that up is like if you have most people have dial-up internet.
Right.
If you're playing a virtual tour, he had to know, okay, well I want them to have like music going along with it, but he had to use when you're playing the old like Super Nintendo games or even Nintendo, the music, and they had to fit these on like 1 megabyte or whatever was the entire cartridge.
Yeah.
So everything had to fit on there, and the music that he used was called a MIDI, M-I-D-I, and it's just like mega basic sounds, but it would take up like no space.
Right.
So he would have to find like what would be called MIDI music at the time, and some of them would be covers of other songs or close enough that maybe I don't know that they had the digital rights deal going on at the time. Metallica didn't lay the law down after Napster. That was I think a little bit later, but. So he had to be specific with how he put the stuff together because if it took too long to load, people aren't going to want to do it. So he had to think about all these things. So I mean, I'll certainly give him credit for helping pioneer that process.
Yeah.
But because of that, I can build websites, or at least I used to know how to build websites.
Like
Front
coding?
Page, Dreamweaver, Flash, like a lot of stuff that's probably not in use now. But all these programs I learned, graphic design. So I played with Corel. I played with certainly Photoshop. I used to do a lot of that. I would do a lot of graphic design. And then I got my own camera because he would buy a new one like every 6 months or something like that. And so I would get one of his old ones. And so like between doing photography and doing graphic design, web design, all that kind of stuff, I did all that. Build my own. I built 4 computers. I've helped friends build computers, so I picked those skills up from my dad, all that kind of stuff. So
Dang.
I mean, there's a lot of positives that I certainly picked up from that relationship. Where I won't say I carry many of that skill set today, but I would say photography. I have a really good understanding of lighting and composition and all that kind of stuff. And actually, I taught Sarah. It was funny. I think it was we had a cruise in Alaska last summer, and we were borrowing her dad's DSLR because I've since gotten rid of mine. But I was teaching her how to frame a photo because like when you're taking a photo, you don't want to just point and shoot. It's like, all right, cool, picture of a kid, that's fine. But like if you're trying to take a picture of like a mountain or a stream or whatever, it's understanding the composition of the photo. What is the subject you're trying to capture? Because when you're doing a landscape, for example, you don't want to just like, oh, that's a pretty sunset. It's like, all right, cool, but the sunset would look a lot better if you're at this angle, because then like this thing's silhouetted and it kind of captures your attention, and you want it in certain parts of the frame because your eyes are going to gravitate during certain parts. When you have your phone on taking photos, do you have the grid pattern on? I leave that on all the time, and there's where the lines intersect. It's never in the middle. But there's 2 lines this way, and it might be, I can't remember, it might be more. No, yeah, it's 2 lines going either direction, almost like a tic-tac-toe. But where those intersect, that's where you would want like your subject matter to be, because just whoever's determined this, they figured out like your eyes are just going to gravitate more in those parts of the photo. So I always just try to take photos where I have the grid up and I line the photo up there, and I'm trying to zoom in and out and try to take certain things out of the tech. I mean, there's a bunch to it. But, so that's like the only thing that I still would say that I do based off of that, because I'm not building websites anymore, and
This is what he's referring to. So in the dark, you can see.
Can you see those lines in there?
Yeah.
Little ghost lines. But I also like how they put a little level.
It's a leveler.
Yeah, well, the level's clutch too, but you could edit the level after the fact. I mean, you could adjust it. I find myself having to adjust it sometimes as well, but I have the level on, so it'll show me like how many degrees off, and I'll have it at 0, then I'll take a photo. But not that I take great photos, but I can certainly like I can look at something and I'll know if it's going to be a quote unquote nice photo or like a super nice photo just because of how you frame it, how you have stuff zoomed in or out, what else is in the photo. Because if you're taking a photo of flowers, I just saw flowers on the desk. If you take a photo of flowers, but you have like the chair in the photo, and let's pretend the equipment's not here. The chair's in the photo, and maybe the window's in the photo. Well, if I'm taking a photo of the flowers, like it's kind of getting lost with the other stuff being in the photo.
Right.
But if I either zoom in on it or I frame it in a way where like my eyes are gravitating towards the flowers, like, okay, now the flowers are the subject matter. Just little things like that. I mean,
Dang.
stuff like that I picked up. But so that, and then, fishing, jiu-jitsu. I haven't shot in a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say I've shot once in the last 5 years or so, because when ammo blew up, I was just like,
I think we've leveled back out with that.
I think so too, but yeah, I mean, but I used to shoot a lot more frequently than I do now. I mean, I went on a couple serious hikes. Like I did, I did 2 weeks out in the Pacific Crest Trail, so I really like going.
I feel like I remember that.
From Mexico to Canada. So
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, I did my first week in 2019, and I did my second week in 2020, which was funny.
We were still working out together when you did the first one.
Yeah, and then the second one was funny because that's when COVID hit, obviously. I had booked my flights like that January, and then everything shut down in March, and my flight was in, I want to say April, and they were like, it went from a direct flight to going here to going there. They kept rerouting me, and it finally settled on. It was like RDU to Atlanta, Atlanta to LAX, and the whole time it's just like, you know, everybody go on the plane. you're in the airport, and LAX was just like, and that was my first time in LA. And if I never go back, I'll be okay. But it was, I don't have to go too far down that road, but it was a whole nother level that I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Really? I mean, it was in the midst of everything, but still, I was like, oh, I'm just taking a sip of water, but okay, I'll figure out a way to drink through the cloth or something. Whatever. All right, cool. I mean, you get yelled at. But yeah, so I think we went down that road because I was talking about like things I picked up along the way.
Yeah. You're like a jack of all trades, man.
I just get interested in stuff.
Yeah.
I'll get like coffee. I went from like not liking coffee but loving the smell to liking coffee, but I needed a lot of sugar in it to like it. And then I started becoming what I would call like a snob, where I drink it black, and anybody that doesn't drink it black is a insert whatever word you want. And I tend to find people don't understand coffee because Starbucks has like ruined coffee.
Yeah.
Because Starbucks is burned coffee. Burned. It is only dark roast, essentially. Even their medium roast is like anybody else's dark roast. And if you have a very good coffee, like if you go to Counterculture up in Durham or something like that, and you get like a good roaster. I just mentioned that one.
You're speaking his love language now. I just want you to know.
So I went from, I went from like 0 to hero in like a year, and I have like 9 different coffee makers. Which, you know, if you're not into coffee, you're like, why? Like, but literally, I could take the exact same bean, and I could get a different flavor profile out of it if I'm doing cold brew, especially, or if I'm doing a French press, or if I'm doing a pour over, or if I'm doing espresso, or if I'm doing, you know, there's plenty of other ways, or Turkish, which, and I've never
percolator,
but percolator. So like you can get different you can get different flavor notes out of a coffee bean. I genuinely would equate it to like a wine, in the sense that, you know, it's a little bit more broad, because I'm talking about one coffee bean versus, you know, like when you get wine, you're just drinking it how it is. But if you drink the right coffee, you don't need sugar. Like I would recommend a medium or even a light medium roast. It has to be, it gets so specific when they roast it, you have to wait 2 weeks because it has to degas. And then there's like a 6-week window where it's going to taste the best. And then after that, the flavor kind of goes down to like 1 to 2 notes. There's 3 different main regions. I could say a lot about a lot, but so there's 3 different regions that coffee comes out of. It's essentially like the Caribbean, Africa, and then Asia. But for me, it's really Indonesia, but it's Asia. And each region has its own unique like flavor profile. I like the Caribbean the most, but most people, if they're getting coffee, it's
Colombian coffee, dude. Like, yeah.
My favorite is it's 1-2, but it's close. It's Honduras and Costa Rica.
Okay.
I like Colombian coffee. Brazil has a huge coffee thing, but there's Robusta and Arabica. If you've ever looked at a bag, it'll be Robusta and Arabica. Robusta is more you're just like that's what if Starbucks ain't using Robusta, they make whatever they have taste like it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just your general like this is coffee. Versus Arabica, you can get a little bit more flavor profile out of it. So the soil that it grows in, it'll kind of pick up. Like if I'm just going to make a scenario. If you have a coffee tree next to an orange tree, you're going to pick up, because of the soils and everything else, you're going to pick up some notes from the oranges. And it's just little things like that. It's subtle, but if you brew it the right way and you drink it during a way, there's like all this stuff that if you make it line up, you have a cup of coffee, and this is what did it to me. If you have a cup of coffee that where this like everything lines up, you're like, oh wow, I didn't know coffee could be this good. And it was, I drink it black, and then it's a dragon you chase, and you're like,
listen to me. All right, you're missing out on this. It's only 2,
and he's right along with me on every single thing I just said.
It's only 2 ingredients, but there's like 20 ways to produce it.
Did I tell you you're speaking his love language?
I can tell.
See, you guys
real animated. He's turned and facing this way.
You guys,
I'm sitting on the edge of my seat right now.
I'm talking about exercise, and he's shrinking away. I'm talking about coffee, and he's all.
Oh yeah.
Wait a minute.
Just talking about it gets me going, man.
Dude, I'm telling you, you guys.
Finca al puente. Finca al puente. Just find a finca al puente.
There's caffeine in the words, okay?
You guys drink oil. I drink jet fuel.
Yeah. I mean, that's not a bad analogy. You drink chemicals is really how I would phrase it. You drink chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
And I laugh every time I see the reels you send me of like, when you open the fridge and it's just like lined up. And I saw on that fridge over there when she was getting James some stuff out of there. I saw what you had going on in there.
You need
Hey,
to
man.
get on to the the bean water.
I just can't, man. I've never been able to do it.
Bean water.
Like it. The bean water.
I've never been able to do it, man.
The bean and water.
How come
just the
you
bitterness.
haven't made him a cup of coffee that you're like, oh yeah, have some of this? And if he doesn't like that, then I'd be like, well, you're just
well, like you said, it's like a lot of people gravitate to Starbucks because of how sweet the coffee is,
and that's the thing. They don't like coffee.
Coffee to people.
They don't like coffee. They like cream and sugar. And I tell people all the time, if you're and Sarah's a Starbucks person,
I don't even,
and she's accepted this, but genuinely, if you are a Starbucks person, you don't really like coffee. You like the caffeine,
right?
You like cream and sugar. That's what you like, a dessert in a cup that gives you energy.
Yeah,
that's all you want. I like coffee.
Bro, this is just for the love of the game. At this point. I'm not getting no fuel out of this.
Well, I will say, I am so between the amount of coffee that I drink. Between the amount of coffee that I drink and my pre-workouts, I am very desensitized.
See, but I can't. My adrenal glands are shot.
Mine are too, because I'll drink, a 300 milligram caffeine pre-workout, and it doesn't really move the needle. And that's like 5 cups of coffee. 4 cups of coffee.
I can't do pre-workout. I do no pre-workout.
Do you get jitters?
No.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say. I mean, I just don't take it just because I'm still. It's a cocktail. Like pre-workout tends to be a cocktail. You're getting vasodilators, you're getting like things that help your oxygen, you're getting the energy things, you're getting amino acids, which do random things to help you. It's like a cocktail of things that just like prime your body to work out better.
Your boy takes too much of this, and I don't involve any of the pre-workout anymore.
You don't need any. I mean, I wonder how much is even in this.
200.
That's child's play.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
I mean, I'll have my 3 cups of coffee in the morning, and then let's pretend.
Why are you being so surprised? I drink that much.
Well, no, like this guy
at work.
So this, I will fill this up with coffee, and that's where I'm saying it's 3 cups of coffee, because I don't know how many ounces it is, but let's just pretend it's 24 ounces.
Right.
But I'll have 3 cups of coffee. Then I'm turning around and having a pre-workout, and I might, if I piggyback those two together, I might feel, like, oh, okay, I have some caffeine.
Have you ever domed pre-workout, wash it down with coffee?
I've not washed it down with coffee. You had me till you said the coffee part. But if I don't have a shaker bottle ready to just mix water with my pre-workout, I will just do that and then wash it down with water. I'll do that.
Yeah.
That tends to be like a 50% of the time kind of a thing.
Pre-working out with you when I was by myself in, decent shape before I met Amanda, I was scooping it just straight to the dome.
Not even water. You were just like
No, I was dry.
You were dry mouthing it. I mean,
I'm dry mouthing it. I mean, I wouldn't say that. I mean, yeah, I'd have to wash it down.
okay. So
Yeah, like-
I do that 50%.
I mean, you'd be picking out powder for the rest of your workout. Like,
There tends to be, even when I shake it up, there tends to be like the heavier particles that don't
Yeah.
dissolve in the water.
and you're crunching that at the
And
end.
those are the ones always where I'm just like,
That's your post-workout snack.
but those I tend to find, yeah, really.
Leftovers.
Those
yeah.
I tend to find to be like, whatever I do feel, that's the kick. Whatever's not dissolving is the kick.
Well,
That's
pre-
what I tend to find.
What pre-workout are you using right now? What's on the
Bucked
market?
up.
Yeah?
Yeah, which, I mean, it's coincidental that, like, our old location is bucked up. I don't know if you know that. But
No
our old
way.
gym- oh, yeah. They bought it not long after we left. And they kind of leveraged, like, if you buy a certain amount of their products, you could either, I don't know the exact how they tier it and all that kind of stuff, but, like, you can go to the gym and work out there for, like, super cheap comparatively.
Wait, it's a gym?
It's our old gym, yeah. And they
But that's a bucked up gym.
fucked up. It's one of a few. Like, they were running like a test run of like trying to figure out if they could do a certain way of getting people to work. Like, so Planet Fitness is
Yeah.
and I don't hold it against them. Look, all credit to Planet Fitness. There are some lazy MFers in this world where there's a line where if you just pay only a certain amount of money, you won't cancel that gym membership.
Right.
You'll have it, it's there, but you're paying so little. But
Right.
they know you're not going to show up. So instead of like a meathead gym, and I'm just going to make numbers up where you're paying like $80 a month for a meathead gym, but like a lot of the people are using that meathead gym. Equipment use means stuff will eventually need repaired,
Right.
replaced. But Planet Fitness knows 90% of the people going there,
ain't gonna show up.
they ain't showing up.
Wow.
So they have, and look, all credit to them. I'm not poo-pooing Planet Fitness one
Right.
bit. They have set up a way to keep out the actual weightlifter people that are going to use a lot of their equipment with the lunk alarm.
Mhm.
You can't show up with cutoffs. If you sneeze a little too loud, you're out. Like, just, I'm making that up. But like all these stupid little things where like if you're a general workout person, they've set their gyms up that gym's not for you. And they want that crowd that's going to show up, eat their pizza on Friday, do a couple. Everybody's seen the videos where they're just like doing back extensions while eating a freaking piece of pizza or something like that. And that's the only one day a month they show up to the gym.
Dang.
But Bucked Up has been trying to run some kind of pilot program where, like, you know, if you're buying a certain amount of their products, or I don't know how they do it exactly, but I know it's set up in a way where if you're using their products in some kind of subscriptive way, like I'm already buying pre-workout, I'm already buying protein, I use a certain amount of it every month. So if I did it through them and I got their product, my gym membership would be cheaper. And they've been running that kind of a thing.
So it's essentially the same thing.
And it's happenstance that I'm using Bucked Up. I just, I'll grab. There's ones that I'm looking at certain things to be in it or not be in it.
Are you actually going over there to work out? Or are you
No.
doing it over there too?
I work out of it too.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
just way too
Yeah.
convenient. For
Yeah,
me. I mean,
absolutely.
It is close, but like it's just too like minus people. And I say this in the nicest way. Minus people interrupting my workout because when everybody knows me,
Yeah. And that is true.
I'll in a given hour, I'll have to like either be rude to people, which I don't want to do,
Yeah.
or eat like 10 to 15 minutes of my workout because maybe somebody's asking me a question, maybe somebody just wants to talk to me, and
Yeah.
I've kind of learned ways to be like,
Yeah.
hey, follow me, and I'll just like you keep talking, but I'm gonna keep listening,
Yeah.
whatever. So I've learned ways to not be rude about it.
Yeah.
But, like that is a thing.
What about, and it's the last question I'll ask you, and then we'll wrap things up. What about that new gym that just opened up in
One Life
Apex?
Fitness.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where the old Beaver Creek
Yeah.
theater was, and that's right. That's in
Is-
my backyard. That's
is
in
it
my
a-
backyard.
I know,
Straight
yeah.
up in my backyard.
Yeah.
You're talking about me? I've not been there yet. Are you?
I was about to say, I didn't know what your thoughts on it were because
I
it's
have
kind of
not
like
been
a.
there. I've seen photos. I've not walked in.
It looks
but,
pretty
it looks
gnarly.
amazing.
Have you seen it?
And I believe I know the person who's GMing the club. So I mean, I might go do a workout there, but
Yeah.
because I do want to check it out.
I would love to.
Because I get asked by people, whether it's people that work out at my gym or even clients, that they know where I live in terms of like they know I live near there.
Yeah.
And they're just like, are you gonna go over there? Because I know it's like in your backyard. And I'm like, no, I'm not going there for a couple reasons, but the
Yeah.
main one being like, I'm very aware that the grass is always greener, and I don't know what kind of setup I'd have over there. But
Mhm.
until I get like annoyed to a point where I'm at now is just like not working for
Yeah.
me, I'm a master level trainer at my gym, which is the highest you can be.
Mhm.
There's only 19 master trainers in the entire company, and we have like, if you include South Carolina, I think we have something like 28 locations, and I'm somewhere in that range. I'm probably blowing the number up a little bit, but between all those locations and all the trainers and all of them, I'm one of 19 or 20 master level trainers. But when you reach that point, the gym recognizes like, okay, this person's going to be successful wherever he wants to be at. So this is what I was said. This is not my words. This is what was said to me, but they'll essentially equate it to, they're like, we're happy to have you working here. So
Right.
they try not to like step on our toes. We can set our own prices. We can kind of make our own schedule, do our own thing. We get the best rate versus like, because when people train with me, they're paying the gym pays me, but I get a percentage of it that's greater than like the other levels.
Mm-hmm.
Because the other levels are dictated by how long you've trained for, what your experience level is, what your knowledge base is, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Master level training is like you're checking a ton of boxes. And I've been a master level since COVID essentially. But yeah, so I until something happens where I'm at now gets me annoyed enough that I'm like, all right, let me look at other avenues. Like I'm happy where I am.
Yeah.
Because if I'd be hitting the reset button, because the
Well,
big thing is like how far away people are.
Yeah.
If people are driving 5 minutes to go to O2, but have to drive 20 minutes to come to One Life, even though it's 5 minutes for me now instead of 20 minutes for me now, that's not going to work for them.
That whole argument, though, that whole argument for me is kind of like wild because where I grew up, I would have to drive 20 minutes just to get to civilization.
Dude, I had to drive 20 minutes just from the time I entered your neighborhood. Like, I know that you're living like a bit away from me versus what you used to, but even once I turned into the neighborhood, I'm looking at the GPS and I'm seeing you're all the way in the back. I felt like you were the final boss of the neighborhood. I'm like having to make my way all the way here. And finally I get to the end of the road and I'm like, well, I know he lives here. I turned it off. I saw the car outside. I'm like, I'm here now.
Yeah.
I seriously was looking at how far back into the neighborhood you were. I'm like, this dude's the final boss of the neighborhood.
Well, man, I appreciate you coming, bro. It was, I mean, a pleasure having you here.
I'm glad we finally made it work
know.
after all them snow and ice escapades that
We have been trying to get him here.
It's been a while.
Probably after we had David.
Yeah.
Certainly since then, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's been like we've talked about it before.
For a while.
I was like, hey, let me know what works. And then finally, when stuff was able to work, it was like
Snow.
ice and then the snow and then, whatever. So
Yeah. Man, could you imagine what it'd be like to have him and David on the show?
we could do it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, if you guys get, I'd love to.
We're not going to do it here. We need a lot more space.
Yeah.
Well, if we end up doing that, I'd be more than happy. And that might have to go under some like, that's probably going to go down a couple roads that you might have to put a mask on or something like that. I don't know.
I got a good location. So we're good.
We could do that one over in Colbro that he
We
was
can,
talking about.
yeah, we can do either that or use the guest room at my in-laws.
Yeah. We'll make
Whatever
it work.
works. I
Yeah.
mean, because that might go down some roads that you guys might have to just be like off camera, feeding questions. We're like,
I think we're
the
going to
producers asked us to answer this.
We're gonna have to keep you two guys on a script. You
I love
got a
that.
shot collar on your ankle. You step out of line, man. We're gonna have to.
Oh, well, hey, we have that. We have a TENS unit. All you got to do, you know what a TENS unit is?
No.
It's a recovery thing. Have you ever? How do you not have this? It's this thing where you put like a thing on whatever muscle. It's a recovery technique, and it will zap the muscle to help loosen it up, or if you're tight, it'll
Look,
whatever.
man.
It does a few different things for you. But
Electricity's been used on me twice, and I'm not a fan.
when you dial, I don't know that it's like that, but when you dial it up, you're aware.
I'm not trying to. Oh no.
But you could use that. Be like, all right, okay.
I think I'll just stick to the dang muscle gun. Yeah. No, like that.
Oh, the
thing with
massage gun.
the massage gun, yeah.
yeah.
Which, I mean, you know how I am, man.
That
It's
was
like,
wild.
I'm done with the workout. I'm like raw dogging it the rest of the day. I don't need, like, sore for me. Hey, good. That means I
Yeah.
worked out.
I mean, you worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, man, awesome.
I appreciate you having me
bro.
on.
Thank you.
I probably talked way too much.
No, it was perfect. So, guys, if you want to watch this episode, man, please go follow us. You'll see regular content that we're going to post with Justin on Instagram, Facebook, X. And then the episodes will be on Spotify and YouTube. And then Evan will tell you how you guys can support us.
Just make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. Make sure you send it to all your friends, family, and everybody in between.
I got it.
Gotta love it.
All right.
Appreciate y'all watching.
Thanks, guys. Catch you on the next one.